Mention out, they're greening.
I got the guys finishing these spot signs. They said purple's good.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right, it's 6 o'clock. We're going to call this meeting to order, and we do have a quorum present. If you'll join me for a word of prayer. Lord, we thank you for this day, and thank you for all your many blessings, Lord, and we pray that you would be with us as we do the citizens' business here today, Lord, and pray that you would help us to keep everybody in mind and the best interests of everybody in mind as well, Lord. And we thank you for your Son, Jesus, for him dying on the cross, and we do all this in his name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. You join me for the pledges. We pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state,
under God, one and indivisible.
That brings us to item number 4, council announcements. Anybody have anything they'd like to say?
We do have someone who wants to speak during public comments.
Okay, that will close out the council announcements, and we'll open up the public comment section. And this is where anybody can speak for time limit of 3 minutes. And we've got one person that signed up, Miss Camilla White. If you'll come to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Camilla White. I'm at 525 South First Street West in Clyde. My concern is, and I know in general you guys don't get to respond because I didn't sign up on I didn't put up for the agenda. One, the meeting for last month wasn't conveyed very well. I asked when you guys canceled on the 14th when it was going to be rescheduled. And at that time, they had no idea what the date was going to be for the month. So then when the last minute meeting came up last week, well, a couple weeks ago, I guess it is now, and then it got changed to Monday instead of Tuesday, I didn't have an opportunity and or my neighbor to come out and actually be in on the meeting. We'd like to attend when we know there's going to be a meeting. Like I say, I did ask when it was canceled on the 14th, but yet I guess other than Facebook and on the front wall, I didn't see the announcement. I saw it on the news that there was a whole bunch of people in here over the baseball fields, the Little League people and whatnot. And so it'd be nice to be able to, I know generally it's the second Tuesday of every month, but that cancellation was more of a, couldn't get a, like I say, straight answer, wasn't able to attend because I didn't know it was changed and then changed again. And then my other concern is there some kind of do y'all have a plan for all this traffic that's going to start down Southwest Drive and back on, I can't remember the other street offhand, but with this new housing development and stuff that's going in off of Sunset, how that's going to go? What are the city plans for all this traffic that's going to come up when all this people start moving into these homes when they're built? Yeah, what is the plan for that? And so it'd be nice to know how that's going to be accommodated, how that's going to, the streets in that area, y'all probably know, especially Southwest Drive, are already pretty bad, that aren't maintained, and they're pretty holy hell. And you can hit one just about every probably 10 feet. But, and then lastly, I know y'all said that we'd be able to contact the city anytime we wanted to look at our meter. And at this last occasion I called to get a meter read, or looked at to make sure it wasn't leaking, because of course, I guess the app's not ready yet. Haven't heard anything on that, haven't seen anything in the paper when they're gonna have that ready, where we can actually look at our meter or see if there's any leaks or any concerns, or having to wanna shut it off while we're out of town. But, so I haven't seen any information on that come out. I haven't seen it posted, anything there. But at the same point, when I asked someone to come out so I could look at it, I guess at that time, the truck was broke down. They assured me that somebody would be at my house at 9 o'clock in the morning. And at that point, I guess whoever took the call to pass it on said it was supposed to be at 9, they told me 9 o'clock, and they ended up coming at 8. Well, of course, it's not a big deal, I was there, but I was, one, not ready for it because I'd started for washing dishes, so then that was running, and so you can't really look at a leak meter if you got something running. But I was prepared, I knew or thought they were gonna be there at 9, but it ended up being 8. And plus, not only that, it wasn't at the convenience or wasn't when I wanted them to come out, it was actually the next morning, because I guess they were broke down in Cisco or wherever it was, the truck was broke down. Jerry in the truck or whatever was broke down, so they said, could we get you in the morning? And he, like I say, there's a little bit of lack of coordination on the whoever's dispatching or giving out the information for the guys to come out.
Okay, thank
I'm
you.
not
Your 3 minutes
upset
is
with
up,
them.
So thank you for your comment.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else, any public comments? Okay, with that being said, we'll move to our consent agenda. 6.1, consider and act upon approving minutes from the special meeting of February 27th, 2023 as printed. Take a motion for that. Okay, motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilman White, second by Councilwoman Tom Kaufman. All those in favor? Passes unanimously. Okay. 7-0, the presentation, the speaker was unable to be here, so we'll move to 8.0, public hearings. 8.1, the final plat, notice of public hearing on property located being 22.10 acres out of the south 1/2 of northeast 1/4 of Survey 62 BBB and CRR Company Lands, Callahan County, Texas. Request is for a final plat of property into 32 lots so houses can be constructed on each lot. The property is currently zoned single-family estate. Public hearing is today. Any interested parties may appear at the public hearings to learn more about this and make your opinions known. So, is there anybody that want to make a public comment about this replat?
Where exactly is that?
604.
That's the
It's on
604?
604.
That's the one that they've got the ground already tore up off 604? Near, I forget what is that? Not Sunset, it's not off Sunset, it's a little
Sunset.
further down.
Hunt Street or whatever that comes out there.
Oh,
That's on the right.
I know, I've seen someplace, well, I've seen dirt being moved off 604, that's where we're talking.
That's what we're talking
Yes.
Okay.
All right, with no other comments on that, we'll move to section 8.2, the annexation. The City of Clyde will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, March 14th, 6 o'clock, City Hall, regarding annexation of the following properties into the city limits of Clyde. 40.279 acres out of the southwest 1/4 of section number 76 BBB and CRR Company Surveys, Callahan County, Texas. Public hearing is opportunity for persons interested in the annexation to be heard.
Is that on the single-family development that's going off Sunset, or is that a different one?
It's
Oh
different.
ma'am, this is the 40 acres south of the Hagen addition.
So it's in addition to where he was setting up on the other end of the park? So you're saying he's on the, it's now another, area?
It's 40 acres due south of Kevin Hagan's.
So it's up against his, or it's,
Against it.
okay, I know where you're talking now. So they're putting up more housing in there as
No.
well? What's that?
No.
No? So it's just to bring it into the city limits?
It was purchased by the EDC so that we
Right.
could gain easements to bring the water and sewer lines into the, so it's city-owned property, so it's brought into the city limits.
Okay.
Any other comments on the annexation? Okay, seeing none, we'll close that public hearing. Moves us to our regular agenda. 9.1, consider and act upon approving the final plat of property into 30 lots so houses can be constructed on each lot. Property is currently zoned single-family estate. Mr.
So,
Clyde?
Mr. Mayor, council, citizens, this is the 32 lots off of 604. It's previously been annexed in. This was part of the service agreement to bring them the water to the project. The city's completed that, and this is the last step in the process to approve the final plat, and they will move forward with construction.
Okay. Have a motion to approve that.
Make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilman Thomas, second by Councilman White. All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. 9.2, consider and act upon approving the service agreement between the City of Clyde and the Clyde EDC for annexation.
So, Mr. Mayor, council, citizens, this is the 40.279 acres, and according to all our annexation agreements, there has to be a service agreement in place, even though it's city-owned property. So this is finalizing, codifying the last step in the process. So by doing that, you will authorize me as the executive director of the EDC to sign the service agreement. And the mayor, Mr. Mayor, you'll sign.
Okay? Take a motion to approve that. Okay?
Second.
Okay, motion first by Councilman White, second by Councilwoman Kaufman. All those in favor? Okay, passes unanimously. 9.3, consider with possible action to adopt an ordinance annexing the hereafter described territory to the city of Clyde, Callahan County, Texas, extending the boundary limits of said city to include said property within said city limits, and granting to all the inhabitants of said property all the rights and privileges of other citizens, and binding said inhabitants by all of the acts, ordinance, resolutions, and regulations of said city. Mr. Morris?
So, Mr. Mayor, council members, citizens, this is the final action that's required by ordinance to bring the property into the city limits. You've previously approved the annexation, and this just codifies the final step. As an ordinance, it becomes inside city limits, and then we will have Jacob and Martin readdress through GIS our existing city boundaries.
Okay. So with that, see a motion to approve the ordinance? Okay. So we got a motion by Councilman Thomas, second by Councilwoman Kaufman. All those in favor? Passes unanimously. Okay. We're gonna skip to 10.0 for executive session. And, pursuant to provisions of Chapter 551 Government Code, Burns, Texas Codes, annotated in accordance with authority contained in consultation with the attorney. We shall return after that.
Skip yet?
If you're gonna do it,
Yeah, I got that.
why would you?
I got that. He mentioned 9.1.
Kid free life.
If you're gonna do the rest of them.
I think some of like the applications and stuff.
But like I say,
All kinds of different places.
Now, I didn't get it. They said it was all 6 or 4.
Just kind of go over the bridge. See where they broke ground.
We've got two separate
I guess I'll ask Terry on the way out.
Yeah, absolutely. Cleared any ground.
We gotta be the work. All the time. We've thought about it.
Sunset.
That's what I
What's that?
because I haven't seen
Now they don't.
the 604. I've watched
Well, I know.
That's gotta be more than 4. Whatever.
Oh, no, that can't be 9. That is 9. I don't know what the 9.
like any really
Yeah, the one like you're saying, that is, that's a 22.
It looks more than that. Where they got the ground tore up. It looks
But they said it's FM2.
You know, maybe he needed to different something, time and space away.
whatever they just had.
Yeah, I heard that. That was a 9.2. Right, like that, there's quite a few that's not developed. 9.3, 9.2, those are not. I got the 40.27, that's not for development either. So it's just the 2201, and then the 9.2. Yeah, I think they posted it after that. So we can.
Bad news bears.
Let me
We'll probably be at it around 8 o'clock tonight.
But he was really right.
Find out what you're made of.
Sound easy.
How are you doing?
I know how to eat. That's why they don't take it.
Not weird, it was awesome. He's very good. If you're missing it, I think he did it.
You see one of our guys.
You gotta look at it.
I get, like someone converted on the phone, like every time you say, send us a
Some unbiased party.
That's right, my dad got it.
Yeah, he don't miss much.
It's all through my buddy.
Out of place, nobody likes it. I'd like to know about the police chief and Allen.
Oh, yeah.
I'd sure like to know the.
Oh, yeah. I know. This was supposed to be his last place. Yeah, nice. Between something happening and probably getting better off.
You know, he gets
Yeah, Colorado is in all that.
You see April.
Yeah, I got that one. Yeah. I was trying to see how many acres was, I see what I did, 9.1 was this number. 9.1 acres. I didn't get the acreage side, got it. It doesn't say on here. That is on here. Yeah, it doesn't say. Here's what I did. Well, that's, but it doesn't say how many acres. See, I just there to
I couldn't, but I think a lot of it has to do. I think you got it better because
I asked,
I want to say all three that they voted on
the same thing.
I believe all three that they voted on.
which is the one.
That makes it. All right, so we got that. I'm glad we got
Jody here is for our county. I've never seen her female. Now Dawn Buckman used to be, and she's running. She ran for something else. She was running, she's now running for railroad commission or something. Well, that's part of it.
11, 12, 13
So she's fixing to run for something else. She's never had this. She's had our, somehow she's had the district. Because Dawn Buckman
They're gonna be in that Tennessee.
she's in the Metroplex, but she was covering us by just a smidge because we had the because she used to be, she used to be, and she decided to run. The other
That gets interesting.
They said with this one.
I think she she's not. She's a doctor, it was. Yeah, she was a state. This is another taking that 300. That one is also she's born Austin. I don't know if it's the corner but they never broke ground.
And the guy came out like immediately from West Texas Supply and said,
As a surgeon.
like called it all the time, no updates, or sleep out of heart, they said they come out. They told me all these things.
I knew she was
Now, I'm going to every day. They find us. But Samsung.
Lake City, I don't remember seeing it. I love Lake City.
They were.
I was
My friend said that. Beat up while she was driving my whole child.
my sister lived in Lake City. We lived there. We lived families.
Upright washer and dryer and those things. They might use more water, but they always
It's now Houston. It used to be Clear Lake City, then Clear Lakes now annexed into Houston. But, I bet she lives in Austin. A lot of people think Austin. What I saw the other day, she, you know,
They're gonna do something with it.
see her district stretches from Austin.
So now I'm driving down the block. Hopefully that's when.
Primary so yeah, she's gotta be in Austin. I knew she was here. Seeing her.
Yeah, there's access right there too.
Susan King is her time.
Paper and there's a grass path over there. All the way down there. All I gotta do is pave it.
I don't,
And it connects
pretty
right
sure
there.
she lived there with her.
If I lived there, I'd rather come in my 18 more
Last night, a friend of mine said that a lot of the voters here are just made.
They're putting 70 new houses with all the ones that are there. I'm gonna put a frame in it, stop right there on that corner. Rise the rock, we're busy in the morning and sell gas. Sign is still there.
I don't know how she knows it. She loves me. Because one guy well, his name is Henry.
Really? And new wiring and everything. So as long as the poles
This guy, he just,
I know he had, I don't know, fell out with that. He broke his arm.
and he had,
He kept telling me his arm was wrong with it. Another doctor told him,
She said it, coaches, great, somebody like that survives.
he said you can just turn it in at opening day. That's what I originally suggested.
He had a guy that was with him.
Today. Except for the long photos, I mailed that check.
You guys pay $9. I just took my sponsorship off of it, it's all right. So it's like
That was the
14
extent of
right
that.
there.
And so like I say, when he died, that's all you was to my knowledge.
Banners, what did I say, was 30%?
Hopefully the guy will give us a good deal.
No, they've got their own. They used to do this, and she had a Bible statement at a time. You know what I mean? Because they were an hour later.
Sit about
Maroney.
Yeah, he's in the same.
Like me and forgets to turn off Wi-Fi.
One other gal.
Oh, is that what happened Friday?
And then there's a back door.
Friday, so I was under anesthesia. So Shane was like, do you not text a new phone? Really, usually I got it
Are they over there, the back?
I had a
Are they at IGA?
It's right there.
What is happening? They're like, just take a phone. So like the school blocks. And he's sometimes up here. You know, but anyways, all of that being said, you're right, we need to figure out.
Yeah. Just to get them all on the same page on what the options are, what it means, before we go into some sort of discussion. Kind of like,
Yeah. I had a parent that was like,
Craziest few weeks of the year, just because so many jerseys, so many different teams.
so many just all at one time.
One of my Clyde girl here, she got married. I know that she told me 3 months ago. She went on her honeymoon for 2 months. Said, I didn't know baseball. She said, no, I told you when I was out there, I assumed you'd think there's a honeymoon. I was like, I didn't think I'd be out for 3 weeks. That's right.
but also,
My screen printer is traveling. I've had since I tore a muscle in his leg. So he's like out. So it'll be done in time. It's just been a trick.
How many banners?
He hasn't sent it to me. Remember, I
think I got a check for another one.
that's what I was telling Sarah.
but she's,
Remember, I messaged you Monday because I think it was going to get on If it's going to be 20 banners, it's going to take a minute to print them all and get them all ready.
client's manager.
Shane was like, I can't wrap. I
If you're new trees,
Some shoes we wear changes on if they come out with a number.
Trucks coming.
like, well, that's. That was the first one.
I mean, it's not only it's plan, it's more your back, interpreting.
It's just a language plus you can imagine having 100 pounds that big
So I've got
now,
96
and running in your 50 feet from.
Before it's actually.
I saw your shoes, so I was like. Because you had to back the truck out, roll it out.
It's fine.
Roll it out. Evacuate the roads. It was a tedious plus something. And 50 feet. Stay out here.
Yeah, it gets about 12 miles.
Where the breakdown is.
Oh, yeah?
Back shoulders.
And then that goes.
Yeah.
Like I say, I can't complain though. It's the worst of it is fun. Like I wanted in that. People are getting written off today. People are written off.
I'm pretty sure everything's good. Any bone surgery.
I still got a little knot. There's nothing you do about that when they reattach it. There's a little
I would much rather do that and you be happy than for them to go through the shoulders, plug it back up.
I mean, now it's 3 weeks. It took me 8, 9 weeks to get there. Because before I could, when I got there,
I gotta do something, so.
I could get here, now it's but that was like,
So when they go through something like that in the state,
but that's almost
I guess,
I couldn't get my finger underneath it. Just grab it with the
Michael won't get this done, of course, he's also.
I would get scared.
did you ever see that?
She was
There
wanting
used to be a
to.
very big hole in the road.
She was so bad. She had
Oh, yeah. And they finally, we finally cut that.
They fixed it, but it,
and she had, I just don't know. She had 7
whole side of the road was there.
It's a,
No, but I had.
all of them. 3-4
I mean, I think that's probably what it's for. I don't know.
Put a cage in,
I didn't have to do any repairs on that.
Pictures of how bad it is.
pretty much
They
like
put
she
tires
Because this is like a
each time she gets surgery.
But if you guys want, that's what I want.
You know?
All the issues, but I just drive it
Government code. So apparently it's a government code, Vernon's,
I think it's got
Vernon's Texas code.
96, got 197 miles. Square body.
So it's some,
Four-wheel drive, and it works.
I guess if you look it up,
You might hit 75 going down.
but it is.
No, he just said,
It's got the.
I've driven it, drove to Stevensville, back.
Consultation with attorney concerning property owned by.
oh, because of that.
That was part of his property. He had land, everything was property, you know, and then he had.
That's a Ford thing. Yeah, especially on one like that.
Maybe
They got sprayed up, just got a solid product.
it went back, and it comes out of private road on 18 as it goes deep behind the house, it goes along the road.
Spark plugger too, if I had. That's what I thought about doing that.
This cat's every time it's ready, they
Yeah, sounds like it. In fact, I'm supposed to say, a friend of my husband is through to find out what the county.
that would have been great. He's teaching his certificate.
Driven away, ran something there, right? But then it never ceases. Never, it always has. Yeah, if you're not careful, yeah.
When he graduated, he said
My body was a guy that
he's a lot bigger and strong. So now he's working out more. Riley said, shoot, if you're 85 now, if we work all summer, you could be like interiors and if you're 90, the fridge area, lefty, you could go play for
yeah. And it's exclusive, so you can listen to whatever.
he's loving life. So that's good. All he does is
Whole rear end on his right.
Once that team get a license, literally he's 4 lessons every day. And he's making money.
Going down the road.
But it's not like station.
Oh, yeah. He said just finished getting straight.
Wanna wait for him?
Yeah, he was going to the restroom.
Okay.
Okay. It is 6:43, and we'll reconvene back into open session. Let our city attorney make a few comments.
You wanna call 9.4 first?
Okay, we're gonna go to agenda item 9.4, discussion concerning Clyde Little League and girls softball.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Hi, everybody. I'm the city attorney for the city of Clyde. And so as the council mentioned last time y'all were here, they wanted to visit with me regarding some options. And so what we've discussed is the possibility of selling the property in question, or conveying it to the Little League and softball as nonprofit corporations, which means you'll have to get back incorporated. And there is a provision which says we can do that. as long as there's an agreement that the property be used for a public purpose. So it would be the same public purpose that is in the current deed. So that's what we've been discussing.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So at this time, is there anything that any board member of the Little League or softball would like to say? You can come up to the podium and say it. If not, we'll continue on.
Holly Cofer. Do you need my address? Okay, 1436?
14.
County Road 631. And it's Clyde. And I'm sorry, y'all, I have my cup. I have the same stuff everybody has right now.
David Newman, 1107 Woodland Drive.
Actually, we just need one
One? We'll go right.
spokesperson, yeah.
And first of all, I'd like to try to keep this short and sweet. We don't have a 3-hour discussion. First, I wanted to say thank y'all. We really appreciate the phone call that one of our board members got from our city secretary and city administrator to discuss the proposal of the intention of the land. We're really appreciative that y'all were able to hear our request, and hopefully we see what's best for the city and our community, and so we appreciate that. I wanted to say that first. And we're really looking forward to hearing the resolution and hearing the proposal and taking that back to our legal counsel. And the only reason, not that we don't trust y'all or anything like that, but the law is not my specialty. We don't have any attorneys or real estate people on our board that feel comfortable saying, oh, yep, this all looks perfect. So we have decided, just for the best interest of our kids and our city and our board and our future, that it would be best to reach out for legal counsel. And so we have done that, which I think we discussed at the last meeting. So that's what we're looking forward to right now, is being able to bring that information to them. One question that we had is, I think last time we talked about that we had already discussed that we're in the process of trying to reinitiate the Clyde Community Park Board Incorporated. And so, again, we really appreciate y'all saying, hey, the Little League baseball and softball needs to be incorporated to be able to get that land, and I understand that legal process. My question is, so our kind of thought is, would y'all consider if we came together as that Clyde Community Park Board Incorporated, we were able to legally reinstate it, and members of softball and baseball come together? And the reason for that is because we feel like in the future, we've talked about that we don't know who board members are going to be for y'all in 10 years. We don't know who it's going to be for either of our associations in 10 years. And so by forming one board that has members of that softball and baseball, that helps protect our future generations, where you don't have one separate board. Say softball board had totally different ideas and intentions that they wanted to do compared to baseball. So just looking in the future, having that one community board to where it incorporates both leagues, if we're able, like I said, if we're able to legally reinstate it, would that be a possibility with this type of proposal?
I don't know, I guess everybody's looking at me, so I'll answer. I don't know if, like you said, you've reached out to an attorney. I mean, I think he or she can give you the response, but just from the provisions of the Business Organizations Code that I've reviewed, there is a process for reinstatement, but it's supposed to be signed by someone who's authorized to act on behalf of the entity. And so I don't know how you make that connection, but you may have more information. So that would be something that your attorney could help you figure out.
Okay, great. But if we were able to legally reinstate that would kind of take the place of the Clyde Baseball and Softball Incorporated, I think is what the question is.
That would be up to the council if
Okay.
they decide to do either or, depending on how you reincorporate.
mean, I would think as far as the contract, it came from the public board, it would need to go back to the public board. That's what the contract reads.
Well, and I guess if that entity was reinstated, then it would be kind of a different transaction because they would just be exercising the reverter clause rather than us having to convey anything. So it would be a little bit of a different
Yeah.
transaction, but it would accomplish the same purpose.
Like, would it be easier or more difficult is the best way to ask that.
It would probably be easier, but I just don't know the corporate side of it as well as hopefully your attorney will know.
And also, I just want to apologize that we weren't able to set up a meeting, and I appreciate you, Mr. McGuire, reaching out and being able to set that up for us. Again, we were following the legal counsel advice that we had reached out, because again, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an attorney, I don't pretend to know that world. And so that was just the advice of our legal counsel, but I do want to apologize that we weren't able to meet yesterday, but I do appreciate that you were willing to do that. So thank you, and again, our apologies on that. That was all we really had to say, and we're looking forward to this resolution and going from here. Do y'all have any questions for me about any of this? Oh, I'm sorry, I had one more question. We kind of had discussed, and again, legally, I don't know if this is the correct term, like a stay of execution or possibly date to where we're not like just rushing this, because we want to do it all the right way. You know, if we get this board reinstated and, you know, do the right paperwork, anyone that's purchased, you know, house or anything real estate knows that it's not a short process by any means. And so we just want some assurance from the board, maybe to say, hey, you know, within the next 365 days or whatever time period y'all agree on, that y'all won't plan on doing anything else with the fields until we can kind of sort this all out. And that's where we stand on it. So thank y'all very much. We appreciate y'all's time, and we appreciate the effort and for hearing us out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody that on the softball board would like to talk?
She had to leave. Sorry.
Okay. All right, so, that being said, we'll the discussion that we have, our motion that we would have from the council on this. Have to make anything.
You ready to dive in?
Make a motion, 30 days to get a LLC and transfer the land to the Little League Baseball.
And softball.
And softball. Clyde Public Park.
Okay.
Is this saying that we have
That we only have 30
days and that's
days?
it?
30 days to get your incorporated 501c.
They told us it'd take at least 70 days to turn that around.
Because I
That's
think what
coming
Holly
from the
was,
comptroller.
Comptroller.
yeah, because we were trying to reestablish that park board, so that may take, or reestablish the old organization, and sorry if I'm speaking out of turn. So that may take longer. That's why we're like, hey, we don't know how long this process is gonna be, because we're also not familiar with it either. So 30 days, I highly doubt we'll get that accomplished in 30 days. So just as far as realistic timelines.
Can we just readdress next month at this meeting?
And kind of
see
get like a
where we're at?
status update of where we're at, and maybe once we have a clearer picture of where we're headed, then we can give a better idea of like, okay, yeah, this is gonna take a little bit longer, or no, it's only gonna take X number of days.
There's a motion on the table, so you can either amend your motion or there could be you could call for a second.
Amend your motion or?
Yeah, we'll amend the motion for the 30 days.
Okay. And, so how long or?
question, am I completely out of order to have a question?
No.
The reverting back to the original board, the entity that existed however many years ago, over 15 years ago, those people are no longer involved. The incorporation that we're recommending is a new incorporated entity with a board. That can be done in 30 days.
So, I'm sorry. So if, I think the reason that we looked at the reinstatement part is because of the wording on the previous deed. And we do have one member that, was a member of that board at the time that is willing to be active, if needed. So I understand what you're saying, and I think that would be quicker, because we did look at that, but we didn't know in the legality part if that's something, if y'all would consider the softball and baseball coming together to form a totally new league instead of reinstating that, or a new corporation, 501(c)(3) with, the incorporated, all the legal stuff. Is that something that, y'all would consider in this contract as well? The only reason we were reverting back is because of the wording in the previous deed.
Okay.
So, how long do you need? I mean, 6 months?
45 days.
So I've sent all the information off to the comptroller, and that takes a couple weeks to get that letter back. And I already have the paperwork ready to send off. That part said it can take up to 45 days, but you can't send that off until you receive the letter from the tax office. So realistically, I mean, it could be, 60 to 90 days to know for that. Now, if y'all were okay with us initiating a new corporation, I think both Little League and softball boards are totally fine with that. We were just, like I said, the only reason we were reverting back is because the wording of that previous deed. But if that's something that y'all are open to, we can definitely get that done, and I do know that that's a quicker process. And we
But I
are.
still think we would have to consult with whoever it is that, our attorney that we're working with, to make sure, like, which option is
So-
gonna make the most sense. I think that's a reasonable question to ask.
So the city's position is, we're willing to convey the land to you.
Just trying to figure out a way to do that.
You can establish a new board. You can do that in less than 30 days.
As long as you are good with that based off the contract original wording.
Absolutely, we are great with proceeding with that.
So we're gonna convey the land to you. It's your land after that. The city is completely out of it.
That's fine, but the way that Roger portrayed everything as the last meeting is,
We're gonna convey the land to you. It's completely yours. The city is completely out of it. So either you do it as 501(c)(3)s, as both softball and Little League, or you form a new board. The contract is technically null and void because the board's dissolved. We're giving you the off-ramp. We're giving you what you asked for. We're gonna convey the land to you. It's your land. The city is 100% out of it.
Thank you for that clarification. That's what we were unsure about on the forming the new board.
Well, our lawyer did mention that would be the best approach, would be the whole board.
That way you're not trying to get caught up in old board members trying to get board members. You form a new board. It's under the express purpose that it's gonna be community ball fields. You name it the Clyde Youth Sports Fields. And it's,
We did a new deed stating the fact.
they would, yes.
Yes.
Yep. And it's completely yours. And the city is 100% out of it.
It would include the language in the deed that requires it to revert back to the
Back.
city if it's not used for a public well purpose. So the same language that's in the current deed would apply to y'all.
Well, the current deed said it going back to the community parks board, not the city.
Yeah, but it's no longer.
I understand that, but when we do the deed, in order to do this, we would have to have that same clause that it would come back to the city if y'all fail to use it for that
For the-
purpose.
the
Would it
express
ever
purpose.
revert back to the, and this is out of my own curiosity, would it ever revert back to the landowner who deeded that property to the Clyde Community Parks, since those are that was gifted in a sense?
I would just suggest that maybe you ask legal questions about the ownership, the Little League's ownership of the property to your attorney, because I represent the city, with all due respect.
The land we're talking about is all 40 acres, correct?
All 40 acres. We're giving you exactly what you guys asked for,
That was the intent all along.
all along.
We never wanted to take that, we never wanted to take a piece of that land for anything. And how all this got started, I don't know, but that was never the intent. The intent was to give it to you guys, give it to Clyde Little League and Clyde Softball so we wouldn't be going through all this stuff. That was the intent, and then this deal got blown out of proportion, I think, in my opinion.
It was, that person's not here.
Well, let's,
Well,
let's,
but we need to go forward.
we're moving forward.
We can get this thing done, let's get it done, and everybody's happy.
So
Okay, so the
y'all
motion
give it
is
to us,
30 days to get incorporated
And
to
I'm just
transfer land to
clarifying.
Little League and Softball League.
we take
Or
over the
community
electric
parks
bill,
board.
We
everything.
take over everything.
Everything.
You assume everything. The
Li-
city is
liability,
100,
insurance,
city is
everything.
100% out of it.
And we still will be scheduled on the new field for our games, correct?
So the Little League, if you want to play on the new fields, is offered. The same thing for the softball. Softball last week said they want no part of it. The offer still stands. I have the master schedule already done for the next, all the way to 2025.
For the high
I know
school.
where all the holes are with the school. All you guys need to do is sit down with me. This can be wrapped up, and I've said that all along. I just need you folks to sit down. I've deconflicted everything with the school. There's plenty of open space for everybody to play. That was the whole intent of spending $15 million, was to give the kids here world-class facilities. And you get to keep your practice fields and do whatever you want with them, and the city is completely out of it.
Okay, so to bring this back around, we have a motion on the table for 30 days to reincorporate, and then we'll transfer it to that newly formed corporation.
What happens after 30 days if we can't complete that incorporation in 30 days? I mean, nothing gets done to the state in 30
That's what I was
days.
thinking. I think we amend it for
60 days?
60 days.
90 days, what do y'all, I mean,
90 would be great.
Just for some cushion,
Okay.
if that
So I
would be
amend it for 90 days.
acceptable.
We're with you guys,
get-
we wanna get it done.
Yeah.
If you get it done tomorrow, that's great.
Get it done tomorrow.
Yeah, if we get it done sooner, great. I just don't know how concrete
This
these
is just,
timelines are and how they're adjusted, I'm not.
Most of the state's still working from home, so.
And
Yeah, if it were in our
Did you also
control, we'd
amend
take
to
30
authorize
days.
the motion?
To amend it to 90 days to get the incorporation to transfer the land to the Little League and Softball League or the Community Parks Board.
Yes, yes.
That way, if they decide not to do the Community Parks Board, but do the Little League and Softball, that 501c3s were still covered under this motion.
Together, yes.
And
Got it.
amend so that I can sign the documents and transfer
Now, I
them.
mean, you can sign a document to transfer the property.
okay, so I
I'll
got,
second that.
okay, got a motion by Councilman Thomas and a second by Councilman White to give them 90 days to reincorporate and give, city administrator the authority to sign the documents to transfer it.
Okay. Got it.
Let's see, all in favor?
Who seconded?
Councilman
Mr.
White. And all in favor? Passes unanimously. That will move us to item
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
yes,
Thank y'all for coming.
11.0, a financial statement. Anybody have any questions on that? Okay, so 12.0, motion for adjournment.
Make a motion we adjourn.
Okay, first Councilman Tom Martin, Councilman White, make a motion to adjourn. All- Okay, we're out of here.
I just want to tell everybody.
I just need you for a few minutes, Paul.
Okay, so let me hit this stream off, but